Here's a movement routine to develop full body strength, stability and mobility. Let's go. Now that was tough. It may not always look that like hard when you do this type of training, but I guarantee if you try this, you're gonna very quickly notice how demanding and tough it can really be. And this is also one of the reasons that I always recommend it for many people. Like, you don't have to be a movement guy to reap the benefits from doing this type of flow routines or movement drills. You know, especially for martial artists, it's possible that they do this type of training, but it's crucial for those. But for people who don't ever do this type of training and have kind of a simplistic approach, many times people just do calisthenics, weightlifting, for example. This kind of training I really recommend for those people. And I think one of the major benefits really is that you're doing something that you've never done before. You're gonna be training and targeting muscles, areas in your body, functions in your body that you had no idea kind of existed, and you wouldn't have even think about this if you haven't tried this movement training. So it can really open up sort of new possibilities, and you just need to you try something new, you're gonna develop some new areas in your body, and when you get out of your box, you simply, by training these different areas, you develop more balanced, strong body as a result. So I think this is one of the big benefits from this. But then we can also talk about obviously some, what happens during the movements. We just go through the routine. We start by being in the bear or the downward dog position, sort of, and obviously that develops kind of flexibility on your hamstrings and the posterior chain. Also a lot of shoulder support. From there you start to go to that knee plank. So that's pretty interesting, because when you keep that sort of knee here in the front, it obviously places more weight on this center area. You might notice that it's more intense contraction, especially in your, for example, lower abdominal area. I think this is why it's a very good variation of a plank to do with the knee there. You go back from there to the bear, you transform to the bear crab, through the bear crab roll to the crab position. And I think this is something where it's super important in movement training in general, that you have to carry yourself all the time with your muscles. So you can't be hanging sort of on your tendons and joints, just on top of your structure, and because that very easily causes pains and injuries. So what I like to kind of use the term that you're sort of floating on top of your muscles. So if I do the crab, I'm pushing here away, basically away like lengthening like so. I'm retracting the shoulders, pressing down. You don't have to be like maximally here all the time at all, but you need to carry and float on top of those muscles. It's sort of like having this kind of sort of springs there, and it's active, right? And core, for example, musculature, even in this crab walk, there's all the time a certain type of connection to the core, how it articulates and supports here while I'm taking these steps. It's not like strong crunching all the time. It's just sort of baseline contraction, and some of the exercises it's much harder than others, but it's still there, right? So crab, obviously, when you do this, there's going to be a lot of tricep contraction. The tricep is going to be, the shoulders extended. It's going to be a very tough contraction there because it's so shortened, that long head of the triceps. But so you take that, you know, one of the things also is about the wrist. People often get hurt, the forearms. You gotta keep that, like apply the same thing that I said, like carry yourself with your muscles, is that you're gonna use those muscles. It's not just that you're like just bending on top of your wrist. Like have some contraction, you can try to have a bit of tension in your fingers as well, and really like grab that floor and move yourself forward, right? So we turn, we do the bear crab roll, back to the bear. The bear walk is something that is also obviously for the wrist, shoulders very strongly. You gotta be supporting, same thing here. We're not like this way walking. You're sort of like pushing a bit outwards, contracted here in the upper back area, in your serratus, to be able to carry yourself when you take those steps. And what I've noticed really, actually with many people when they do the bear, it's kind of when they take the step, it's like their legs sort of just like hits there. So that's something that you might want to pay attention to a bit. That when you take the step, you know, you bring it there and it's sort of soft. You bring it there and it's soft. And in this video, this routine, we did kind of a version where our legs are really narrow. So that might make it a bit more difficult for your flexibility in the hamstrings. It also works the hip flexors nicely when you bring it closer, so you need to contract that, and also the abdominals. This is one of those things. It helps if you can't bring this control, use those abs and understand the hip flexors, bring it here. So that's something of the bear walk. So this is like, as you can see, there's so many things going on when you do the simple movements. So many things that you really don't think about. You wouldn't do this otherwise. And when you do movement training, like it's not completely automatic, like you need to do them well, float on top of your muscles, and that's how, you know, it really brings the best results. So I really recommend for everyone interested to find out some new things about their body and develop their body more like a limber, efficient movement. Like this is probably one of the best type of, if not the best type of conditioning for upper body overall, I believe movement training to be. So that's about it this time. Hope you enjoyed this routine. Go and try it. Let me know what you think. I will see you in the next video. Wow.